Good day, everyone. Welcome to Journey of the Anointed with Mr. Buzz. And I want to talk today about how absolutely lucky I am. So, a bit of a gratitude video, we're going to say. I want to express my gratitude for several things. Mainly for having absolute proof of God's existence and seeing so many people out there who struggle with their belief and their faith. Is he real? Is he not? Is it just, am I dreaming up that I sensed this in my dream or whatever? He's taken the guesswork out of it for me completely. I mean, supernatural events are now common in my life. They're literally common. So I'm going to talk about a couple. You may have heard these before. I've taken down every video that I've ever put up in the channel and started fresh again. So I've decided there's some things that I'm going to have to talk about again because I want them documented on this channel. I want there to be a record of them. One of those things is my famous duck story. Something that happened to me years ago, which clearly proved God's existence. There was anybody who was there, and my children were there. My son remembers it. He was pretty small, but he remembers it. And we talked about it a few weeks back, and he's like, "Yeah, I remember that." It's like, "So you remember how intense that was, eh?" He's like, "Yeah, that was crazy." So I'm going to start with that. My duck story. I was really, really depressed one day. I was at my parents' place with my kids. I had visitation rights. I was already divorced at this time. And I'd just gotten dumped by a girlfriend, actually. This girl had thrown me and my children out of her house the night before. So we're at my parents' place now. I'm sad. I really liked this girl a lot. I thought we were going to possibly, this was going to be my new wife because I wanted to get married again. And I thought this one was it. I'd already actually proposed to her, which she'd said yes as well. But then now she was changing her mind and just dumping me, and that was it. She'd found somebody else. She literally found someone else after accepting my proposal. So I did have a reason to be kind of upset. I wasn't whining about nothing, but anyway, I'm moping around all afternoon. It's a nice sunny summer day. We're at my parents' place. There's a lake there. My mother's pretty upset with me because I'm supposed to be visiting with my kids, but I'm so depressed I'm not even fit to be around, so she's really cranky with me. She said, "Take them down swimming." She said, "At least they can have some fun down there, putting up with your sour puss on you." She always called when I was sad, I'd have a sour puss on me, she'd call it. So, down to the lake I go with my kids and sit on the rocks and watch them swim. So, God, I was a really devout believer in God at this point. And after a couple of minutes, I knew that God was just about to move in my life, right in that scenario right there. Out across the lake, I saw a family of ducks. I think it was 6 ducks in the first family and a mother. And swimming in towards us, like, it wasn't too unusual at that point. That's on the left side. Right up the middle, another family of ducks. Another probably 6. We'll say 6 in each family. And a mother. And they're coming straight up the middle. And on the right side, a third family of ducks appears. 6 babies and a mother. All 3 families are heading right straight for me. Okay, we're on a crowded beach. There's people over on the left swimming with their children. There's somebody else launching a boat. There's people everywhere. My parents are on the deck of the house up behind me. They can see right down, no problem. So this is witnessed by a whole lot of people. This is not just something that happened to me and no one saw. Everybody saw this. So these 3 families of ducks are heading straight in, right for me. Started looking kind of weird at it now and what's going on here. They swam right by my kids, not even scared, swam by all the people. They didn't even care about the people, okay? The babies are leading the way. Instead of the mother leading the babies are leading the way, and the mother is trying to stop them from going. Babies weren't having it. They were coming for me. That was it. So they come onto the shore, and the mothers are now freaking out. The mothers won't come from the shoreline. They won't come any closer to me at all. But the babies all left their mothers and just descended right upon me. They crawled up my legs. They were all over me. I mean, I had baby ducks everywhere. In my arms, I had them on my shoulders. They were kissing my face. Little baby ducks, little tiny baby ducks, the cutest things you ever saw. And they adored me. They were just all over me. And now everybody on the beach is like, what is up? And one guy said, check out Duckman. Never forget that. I'm in tears. My mother's in tears. People on the beach are like, they're just flabbergasted. No one knows what to do. And they didn't want anybody else. These babies were there for me, and that was clear. They came to visit me, no one else. I'm like, whoa. Looked at my kids. Go get food. Go get something to feed them right now. So they went up to the house. My mother was already ahead of the game. She had a little bag of stuff ready, some bread and different things. They come down, and I'm feeding them. They're eating right out of my hands. The whole thing lasted about 15 minutes. The mothers are on the shoreline, just going totally nuts, trying to get their babies to leave me. Babies wouldn't, till it was time. Okay? As this is all happening, the sun in the sky, what's God did this? I mean, I think it was clear to everybody on the beach that was God. The sun brightened right up, just got so bright all of a sudden and shone right on me. It was, I mean, the people were looking at me with this bright sunlight on me and these baby ducks. It was God saying, yep, I did that for him. I sent the ducks and I did it for him. All of a sudden, the babies are done. They give me one last little kiss. Off they go back to their proper mothers, and all three families went back the way they came. That I swear to you. My mother was in a state. I was in a state. She's like, there. You walk around with that sour puss on you anymore. She wasn't having no more of that. So that was the most intense. Well, I've got another one here that I'm going to tell you that's... So not many people get to experience something like that. That was, I mean, if you want to know if God is real, that told me, beyond any question, I already knew anyway that he was. I didn't have any... He wouldn't have done that unless I already had faith. He wouldn't have done that to somebody who was questioning whether he existed or not. He did that because he knew I was 100% sure he was real already. So he didn't mind showing himself like that. But I bet he made some believers out of some other people on the beach that day. It was just crazy intense, the intensity of that event. So a few weeks ago, he did another one, which still has me just, when I think about it, it's going to be hard to get through this story because this one, whoa. I'm walking, my normal walk I take every day, and again, he made the sun brighter for me. All of a sudden, I look up, the sun's in the sky. I said, Father, I said something to him. I love that you come on my walks with me. He brightened up the sun, shone it right on me. Like, whoa. So he's done that. See, it's going to be hard to get through this one. He's done that for me at least, I have to say, 5 or 6 times, that he literally brightened the sun and shone it right on me, let me feel it, to let me know he's there. So I'm walking along, and I make this loop, and I'm on this other street, and I start coming back, heading towards home again. And when I make this loop, it's right at a big intersection. There's a traffic light there. It's a whole bunch of different streets that merge into, they go into the same intersection. So as I'm coming around that loop, across the street, there's a guy who's totally infested with a demon. He's and he's all bent over, and he's growling, and it's one of the nastiest demonic possessions I've seen in my life, actually. And I've seen several people completely demonically possessed like that. That's not that unusual. But this guy was the worst I'd seen. It was really intense. So I've got the Father with me, right, acknowledging that he's with me. And you'll understand why he was with me in a second. He knew what was about to happen. He knew what I was going to do. When I saw that guy, I went, Father, I'm one of the anointed. I can fix that. Because we have the ability to cast out demons. We have the authority. All Christians do. Anointed Christians really do. We can get the job done pretty well. So I'm going to go over there and I'm going to save this guy from this demonic possession. I did not even hesitate. I'm heading right for that. I'm trying to get across the street. So as soon as I set foot across, to go across the street, cars, and again, I swear to you, cars materialized out of thin air that weren't even there. And now I've got this line of cars going, and I can't get across the street. I'm like, whoa, it caught me off guard a bit. I'm like, did I just see cars materialize? No, I couldn't have. That's messed up, Jeff. Get more sleep, right? You second guess yourself. But no, that's what it was, actually. So I said, all right, I'm just going to wait. The light is going to turn red. That'll stop the cars, and then it'll be easy to cross the street. But the light never turned red. The light stayed green. And this steady flow of vehicles, just in a place where there's never a steady flow of vehicles like that. And you can see down that street for probably half a mile or more. When I looked, that line of cars went forever. There was no end to it. And the light is stuck on green. And it's just perpetual cars going through, no end to it. It's preventing me from going across the street. And then I clued into it, and I looked up and I went, Father, you don't want me over there, do you? He's like, no, I don't, and you're not going over there. You stay away from that. Whoa, okay. So I'm pretty sure the whole thing was just an illusion he gave me. So no one else saw what I was seeing. Everyone else just saw the normal goings-on. They were probably wondering why I looked like I was trying to get across the street and wouldn't go. I probably looked like a fool on the street. But he made it look real to me, that's for sure. There was no getting across the street. There was just car after car after car after car. And so I said, okay, I see you don't want me there. That's danger, obviously. He's like, yep, not a regular demon. Stay away from that. That's not a good place for you at all. I will handle that. You keep on going on your way. And as soon as I put my both feet back in the sidewalk and I'm starting to walk on my way again, everything went back to normal. The light turned red. The car stopped. Everything went as normal. I'm like, whoa, that was intense. So I come home, and of course, Denzamos, there's a video explaining that because I was ascending, and God had made some big improvements in me and big changes, and I was ascending to a higher level, the demons had been alerted, and one of them had been sent after me to kill me. And that was the demon. Not just me, but anybody who ascended at that time. There's a whole bunch of us had. I was suffering bad ascension symptoms and everything because I had just ascended. And Denza Mose had a video ready for me when I got here about how demons had been sent out to kill as many of us as they could, but they were all going to fail. It's like, God is not going to let any of them get at you. He's going to stop them. Yep, he did with traffic. With traffic. Mind was blown again. Okay. A third one, I was driving. A car pulled out and passed when it shouldn't have. It was heading straight for me. I'm going 100 kilometers an hour, maybe 110. It's coming at me doing the same speed. There's nowhere to go. My aunt's in the car. My kids are in the car. There's nowhere to go. We all decided in a split second, we're dead. That's it. There was nothing could be done. And yet we just, right through it. Right through it. Yep. Again. You will not see me do this if what I'm telling you is not true. I am terrified of the Lord. I will not lie this blatantly, like this on video, with the Lord listening to me, telling you a story that isn't true. I'm terrified of the Lord. Believe me. I'm telling you the truth. All these things have happened. Exactly like I say. Is that proof of God? It sure is. What else would do it? There's no other explanation. That's proof of God. He wasn't having me die that day. He's not having me die any day until he's ready to let me go. And it's not time yet. He's got other things for me to do. I've also had a near-death experience where I completely left my body, floated above, was made to stare at my dead body on the hospital bed, and some sort of, I call it a plasma being, just this blob, came and yelled at me and screamed at me while it made me hover above my dead body and ripped me a new one, basically. Then at the end of all that, threw me back in my body, and as they were pronouncing me dead, I woke up and was fine as can be. Didn't even have a thing wrong with me. It was a suicide attempt, is what it was. And I just all of a sudden, from being pronounced dead to... And what did I do? Recited every word that was said while I was dead. I told them all what was said, what happened during the whole thing, and they were freaking out. They couldn't believe. I said, it's, I don't even hold this stuff against you. The respiratory therapist was calling me every name he could think of because he knew I had children and I'd tried to kill myself. So he wasn't real happy with me. He thought I was an ungrateful piece of crap. And he said some really nasty things as he worked on me, trying to keep me alive. And as soon as I came to, I looked at him and I told him all the things he said. And I said, I don't blame you. I think that was something I needed to hear. He's like, yeah, but you didn't hear it. I'm like, well, I obviously did. I just told you. And he couldn't deny that. One of my good friends was in the room for that. She was a respiratory therapist there too and was being kept away from me. They wouldn't let her work on me. But she witnessed the whole thing. And yeah, to this day, I know she remembers that. So this is why I'm grateful and why I think I'm so lucky. I don't have to question if God's real. I never have. But I really don't have to. I mean, he's given me proof. He's shown himself in all those events, and there's others. I could tell you more. I get to see supernatural things. I get to see impossible things. He uses me in ways that are just bizarre. One more. Me and my friend went out one night to a bar, and 3 different times, well, we'll say 2 different times, The third one, it's not as relevant, but two of the times, the first one, I was out in the smoking area, and there was a guy 6'5", okay, this big tall guy, and even to his friends, he's being intimidating, using his height, and he's towering over people, and he's just, he's literally towering over them and leaning over top of them. So they're intimidated by him, and he's doing it to everybody. He's doing it to every single person around, and he's huge. So I looked at my friend, and I said, my friend's pretty big too, but he wasn't going to help me in this situation. If I did this, I was on my own. I said, I got to go over and do something about that. I said, God wants me to do something. So, of course, my friend didn't care for that. God's talking to you again. Is he? Yeah, right. Not that he doesn't believe in God, but he thinks I make stuff up when I'm talking like that. So he was a little bit pissed off at me anyway. I go over, and I said, dude, you're 6'5", right? Yeah, I'm 6'5". I said, and I started giving him a lecture about how he's using his height and intimidating everybody. And he really should stop. And I said, I think you're a good guy, but I think you're so used to using your height, and the Lord wanted me to come over here and tell you that. And I gave him a big spiel, calmed him right down. He did not do anything like to get violent with me. His friends' jaws dropped to the freaking floor. They didn't know what to do. They're like, we can't believe you lived through that. And he stopped doing it, and it made a difference, okay? So that had my friend kind of freaked out that I went over there and he thought I was trying to commit suicide or something. So then at the end of the night, we're outside, and he's talking to a couple of girls, and I'm off to the side. The girls don't even know I'm with him. And all of a sudden, the Lord says, I need you to go over and do something else. Those two girls, one of them is sleeping with the other one's husband. I said, okay, I know this one. Yep, I'll go. Over I go, and I barely had to say anything. I looked at the girl, and I said, it's terrible that people that you're supposed to be your best friends, you just can't trust them. I'm a perfect stranger saying this to her, okay? Instead of looking at me like anybody would and going, what are you talking about? As soon as I said it, she goes, she's sleeping with him, isn't she? She's sleeping with him. I'm like, I never said yes, never said no. Just went, And all of a sudden, they turned at each other, and they got in this big rip-roaring fight, and the other one admitted that she was indeed sleeping with her husband. Whoa, okay, my work is done. I'll get away from here now. Supernatural stuff. I get to see it all the time. Wild stuff. Of course, my friend is really mad at that point. He ended up doing the FU dance. I wanted to go back to his house to get my stuff because when we decided to go to the bar, I just left my stuff locked up in his house. So he's heading for home, and I'm following him because I want to get my stuff. And I'm like, can I at least get my stuff? He's mad. He thinks I just ruined his chances of getting with one of these girls. That's not what I did at all. But as I'm trying to reason with him, he's going up the street doing this dance, going, F you, F you, F you, F you, except he was actually saying the word. And people on the street were staring at him, F you, F you, F you, F you, F you. He just kept doing it. Going up the street, he wouldn't even let me have my stuff. Yeah. So, supernatural stuff. I'm very grateful that I get to see it. I'm getting to see even more. I mean, these are the main ones that I want documented on here. I want a record of them. But there's more. Maybe I'll do another video someday, and I'll tell some more of those wild stories. I've seen some stuff that you just can't deny is God. It's him, all right. And he's got some pretty wild theatrics he does sometimes, just to blow your mind, and you'll never question it again. Thanks for watching. Remember that Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, the Lord of Lords, is the King of all kings.